Hi, I'm Jason, and this is the Cultural Breakdown. When Sound of Freedom came out this last week, it got some praise from the media. I mean, as you can see right here on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a decent score, but a really good one amongst audiences. And a lot of that also stems from the fact that this was just a low budget independent movie, and for one day, it was able to beat out a big budget studio picture like Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny at the box office, taking the number one spot. And this was all made from a budget of around $14 million. And since then it's made back that budget and in some, so it's done really well for itself. But now we're starting to see detractors come out of the woodwork and attack the film. So we got this right here from Washington Post: Sound of Freedom is a box office hit whose star embraces QAnon. So a lot of this is attacking the star of the movie, Jim Caviezel, for his beliefs or things he said in the past, as well as the subject of the movie, Tim Ballard, a real life Department of Homeland Security agent who quit his job to create an operation that helps target groups that are trafficking children. And we've also seen other outlets sort of attack it too. So they says it's a superhero movie for dads with brainworms, as if to say only a dad who's crazy would be against child trafficking and stuff like that. And then we also have this from Jezebel: Sound of Freedom is an anti-child trafficking fantasy fit for QAnon, as if to say only a QAnon person would be against this. But the thing is, you have to go down into the article to look at what they're really talking about. The legitimacy of Ballard's organization, Operation Underground Railroad, its claims of heroic rescues of child trafficking victims, and its methodology have been questioned and investigated by journalists. So, okay, they're not saying that this isn't a thing. It just says they question some of the methods that their organization chooses. That's fair, I guess. The organization has distanced itself from conspiracy theorist groups who have chosen to latch onto child exploitation and human trafficking as a vehicle to deceptively bolster their causes, like QAnon. Okay, so they say they distance themselves from QAnon and stuff like that. So why do you say it's a fantasy fit for QAnon? Because they believe that there's child trafficking around. Child trafficking is a thing. So they might like this movie because it helps bolster what they say that we know to be 100% true. Now, have they latched on to certain things that aren't true? Yeah, even Tim Ballard himself says, like in this article, that there are certain things that they say that isn't true, but it does get people to kind of look into things and question, like, about child trafficking, which I think is a good thing, because we do know it is a bad issue that does happen. Like right now, like you get this article from BBC News. I mean, no one's going to say this is a conspiracy outlet, and they're talking about trafficking for organ harvesting. And we got this one from the U.S. government: child trafficking or child organ trafficking, global reality and inadequate international response. Now we get an organization like that Tim Ballard created, Operation Underground Railroad, to actually help combat sort of thing like this. And now people are questioning the methods that they're using. Now, look, is it perfect? No, I'm not going to say it is. There can always be better. First of all, there's child traffickers or even any kind of traffickers out there. So as long as that's happening, any organization is kind of falling short of perfection in my book. But are they making headway on it? Yeah. I mean, yeah, people are trying to say like, oh, well, the methods aren't good, or it could be putting kids in danger and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, but they're in a lot more danger if nothing is happening like this. So I think it's probably a good thing that there is something like this going on right now. I know this is kind of getting a little bit away from just pure entertainment news, but it is interesting to see a movie like this that is actually resonating with people and causing them to think twice about like what's going on in the world, because ultimately movies are supposed to be entertainment. But I mean, every once in a while you can get some that have a message that is important, and I think this is a message that everyone should be able to get behind, whether you're on the left or the right. I mean, everyone should be against child trafficking, because this is probably the greatest sin that the world has ever seen. I mean, right now there's more slaves in the world than there probably was at any point in history, and a lot of that is for stuff like this. So you get people like Tim Ballard, who is trying to actually stop that, and someone like Jim Caviezel, who's making a movie that's trying to shine a light to this, to help bring awareness that this actual issue is going on in the world right now. So there is some good to that, even if you don't agree with what it's being said 100%, or agree with the political views of the star and the subject of the movie. You should at least acknowledge that this is something that we should be able to try to support, even if you don't want to support Tim Ballard's organization, Operation Underground Railroad. You should still be interested in supporting other groups that are doing a similar goal, because this is something that needs to be ended. But that's what I think. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. And if you like this video, make sure you click the like button, share the video out there, and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with the latest news. Thank you.